Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to episode 83 of the Stateside Report UK. I'm your host, Stateside Gab over there, Mr. OKC, Mr. Asna. Stateside Hunt. Smiling in his face. I don't know why though. I just had to sit through, might I say, by the way, probably the best game of football that I've ever seen between Bayern, PSG, good teams. And of the time of recording, unfortunately, I have to sit through what Arsenal and Atletico Madrid have for me.
You say Arsenal, you say Arsenal, you say OKC. I've got two words for you. Business end of the season. Bro, squeaky bum time, bro.
Hey, you know, I say, by the way, I told you that either one of PSG, but you're not trying to see them in the finals.
They're not trying to see us in the finals. How about that?
All right.
How about that? We just gotta get there first. You know what I mean, so let me not count my chickens just yet.
Yeah,
But
man. You know, you're facing, you're
Budapest,
facing,
bro.
you're looking at yourself in the mirror tomorrow. So let's
Get
just
me
say it like that.
Budapest, please. That's what I want. Let me dream, Mikel. Let me dream.
Oh dear.
But,
Oh,
like I said,
what do you
this is
have
end of the
tomorrow,
season,
we'll see.
man. We'll see
Well,
who's
it's
really
business.
made of it.
It is business end of the season, as you say, because playoffs, hey man, it's been good, you know. It's been all
Facts.
right,
Facts.
you know. We're gonna get into all of it, East and West, starting with the West as we always do. And Stateside, I'm gonna take it away because I think it will be only right for us to start with the first team that is through to the second round of the playoffs. Are we surprised? Oklahoma City Thunder done up the Phoenix Suns in 4 games. I'm just going to let you take it away, to be honest. I didn't watch too much of the series only because I knew what to really expect in regards to, you know, what the overall picture was going to be in terms of a sweep. But in terms of how it looks, in terms of how you feel at the minute, in terms of how you feel about the OKC Thunder being the first team, the first round, take it away. Tell us how you're feeling.
I mean, I was saying this to you before we got on air. I'm saying, as dominant as OKC's been, I still don't think we get enough credit. But then when you're top of the mountain, teams are going to hate, which is fine. You know what I mean? Like, you go up against a Phoenix Suns team. They're a decent team. They're a respectable team. But at the end of the day, they're 7th, 8th seed. You know what I mean? It's the 3rd season in a row in the first round that we swept a team. You know what I mean? We've done it against the Pelicans, Memphis, and now Phoenix. And it just shows the dominance of a 1-8 team, which that's what the disparity is supposed to look like, which obviously we'll talk about the East and what that 1-8 matchup is looking like. But in the West, it's formalities. Do you know what I mean? SGA dominating yet again. Like I said last season, a lot of people were talking about SGA didn't perform well against Memphis. He shot very inefficiently. And I'm saying, SGA, when he needs to turn it on, he turns it on. I mean, this season, Jada played in game 1, looked really good. Game 2, obviously, halfway through, hamstring injury happened. SGA had to turn to MVP mode. Average 34 points, 8 assists, 4 rebounds, 67% true shooting. I think in game 3, he gave you 42 points on 15 of 18 from the field. Only missed 3 shots. It's insane. It means he's having 7, 8 assist games with 0 turnovers. The level that he's playing at, he's unguardable. I mean, that's the level. And it's not just him, it's the whole team. And you're seeing, again, I know it's only Phoenix Suns, but I'm seeing a difference from what I saw last season, where we weren't just using our brute strength, physicality, and athleticism and the ability to turn teams over to get points, which we still do that. Obviously, that's part of our makeup and our DNA. But the ball's moving a little bit more. Ball movement, play movement. And I feel like we've taken a bit of what the Pacers kind of taught us a lesson of in the finals last year. And just the overall natural improvement of a team who are still... People still don't take it to the fact that we're still young. We're a very young team that we're still ascending. Do you know what I mean? I'm liking the constant progression of the team with SGA and how he's looking like not only as a scorer, but a leader, a playmaker, just an overall all-round superstar. But yeah, I love what I see so far. Hopefully we can get Jada back for maybe the second round. Hopefully the conference finals if we get there. You know what I mean? Take it one game at a time.
One game at a time is fair, and that's a good assessment and good mentality to have, you know, going into the second round. Can you talk to me a little bit about the? You mentioned a little bit, I guess, about the role players and the you know, the obvious factor that they have to, you know, the other teams have to take into account. I'm thinking of, you know, your Mitchells. I'm thinking of your McCains as well. Maybe others that are not springing to mind immediately. But how big were they, and how big are they going to be, you know, moving forwards? Because as good as Shea is, as we know, you don't win championships by yourself.
I mean, the others will definitely have to be important, especially with J-Dub out as of now, because McCain came in game three, gave you good production. Aaron Wiggins came in, gave you good production as well. You have Cameron Williams that can come off the bench. You have AJ Mitchell as well, who obviously was plugged into the starting lineup, giving you 15 points. Didn't particularly shoot well in game three, but bounced back in game four. Gave you good outside shooting, playmaking, ball handling, taking some of the pressure away from Shea in terms of bringing the ball up, initiating offense as well in certain possessions. He takes a lot of that burden and responsibility away from Shea. Kind of allows Shea to just be the elite scorer that he is. I mean, that's what I'm saying. The others will definitely be important, but J Dub is our ceiling. You know what I mean? When we get J Dub back, he gives us a lot of versatility in terms of his size, speed, strength, athleticism on both ends of the court. We need that if we want to face a team like San Antonio. I don't want to overlook the Lakers or the Rockets, who's coming out obviously in the second round, but I'm saying I'll be very surprised if we don't take care of that business.
Are you? Let's give a little bit of. I understand they got swept, and it's funny to some. But the Rockets, the Suns were a surprise team, probably my surprise team in the Western Conference entirely, just because I thought they were going to be a bottom feeding team, especially after losing a lot of what they had last year in terms of the star power. There was going to be a lot of pressure coming into the year on Devin Booker's plate, just in regards to just make us decent, just make us not an embarrassing outfit. And I think they were anything but. And naturally, they're going to get swept against OKC. He said in his post game press conference that They had the tests and they had the answers, or we had the test and they had the answers. Excuse me. Did they, move you in any way? Did they impress you, or was it more those? Was it more of a feeling of, it's the Suns, let's get them out of it. We got bigger fish to fry.
I mean, I'd say it's the latter, but not as dismissive as you kind of put it. But there's some truth in that, in the sense that I almost wanted to see how much of a resistance there'd be, to us. How many games were they not to take from us? When the inevitable, I think it's like delayed inevitability. Like, we're gonna beat them, but it's just like, by how many? Do you know what I mean? But after the first couple of games, I'm like, it'll be very difficult for the Suns to get a game. And recently, our game threes haven't been good at all. Do you know what I mean? So when we went to Phoenix, and Shea gave you the 42 points, 15 of 18 from the field. I'm like, and went up 3. I'm like, yeah, that's the series done. I mean, he really wanted us to put a stamp on that Phoenix Suns team and just say, yeah, there's no way are gonna have any sort of hope to try and beat us. But yeah, Phoenix were alright. They were good. Obviously, Dylan Brooks with his antics, but gotta give him credit with his shooting. Couple games he gave you over 30 points, but
obviously I'm giving Dylan Brooks a lot of credit, because he kind of showed the production and the growth that he showed in the regular season. He brought that to the playoffs, in my opinion.
But then when you look at it in like a micro sort of like analysis sort of thing, that was almost like our defensive game plan. You rather Dylan Brooks get 30 rather than Devin Booker. Do you know what I mean? Dylan Brooks 30 didn't hurt us or won't hurt us as much as Devin Booker giving you 30, and then that opens up the playmaking, and then we overreact to his shooting or outside shooting, mid range, all of that. With Dylan Brooks, you let him get that to an extent, but ultimately, I mean, I'll say they're a good outfit, but I can't give them much more credit if they got swept.
Well, let's see in regards to the Phoenix Suns, just because I like the look of their team. I was just looking at some of the numbers as you was, explaining there. I like what Jalen Green was giving them. Efficiency was a little bit, janky, but what do you expect is Jalen Green? I'll give respect to Dylan Brooks and what he gave. The likes of Gillespie, even their rookie Malawak, fair enough, fair play. They've got a nice little springboard to go off next season, and like I said, they blew my expectations out of the water, just in regards to what I thought they were going to be at the beginning of the year, or what they are now. So, fair play to the Phoenix Suns.
Bro, to be fair, they threw a lot of coverages at SGA, blitzes, double teams, all of that. But Shea was just too good that he didn't allow for them to like double team him and blitz him and stuff. You saw all the coverages, you saw everything before it happened. But it's a good test because that's what the Lakers, that's what the Rockets, that's what San Antonio or Denver, whoever we end up facing, that's what they're gonna do. Because, bro, you can't have the ball. You can't let Shea have the ball in his hands throughout the game, and especially in the clutch situation. But so those coverages that the Phoenix Suns showed us is kind of like a subtle foreshadowing of what is going to happen moving forward.
Oh, definitely. Let's look at some of the other series that are going on in the playoffs as well. We'll go very briefly actually over this one just because I think it'll be really quick. The Spurs versus the Trailblazers. I mean, fair play to the Trailblazers for trying to make it competitive. It's currently 3-1. Wemby is not available. If I'm not mistaken, he could come back in Game 5. I don't know.
He played in Game 4.
Well, there you go. All right.
Seven
There
blocks.
was a game that he missed. If I'm not mistaken, I'll get my facts right. But there's a game that he missed, and he played all right.
Game 3.
Yes, they
It was
played all
Game
right.
3. That's when Dylan Harper and Stephen Castle gave you 30 each, I want to say.
Yes, that specific game exactly. Their guards had to carry a lot, and it was the younger guards as well. So really brief question on this, Stateside. We talked about it very, very briefly last week in regards to, they have to lean on Fox just because he's older, experienced. He's probably the better player, as things currently stand. However, ride the hot hand, as they say. Your young guys are trying to take you there, and obviously you put Wemby into the picture. Everyone says lack of experience this, lack of experience that, but when you've got the talent, then you overpower teams like the Trailblazers, who really and truly shouldn't have anything for you.
I mean, without Wemby there in Game 3, you wanted to see what San Antonio would look like. You know what I mean? They haven't had Wemby in a handful of games in the regular season, but they had a winning record, so they were comfortable in that sort of environment, not having Wemby. Of course, you rather having Wemby than not, but still, it was pretty close until it wasn't. Until Scoot Henderson tried to talk smack to Dylan Harper, and things just got ugly. You know what I mean? Dylan Harper just turned a switch. I think he gave you close to 30 points. Same for Stephen Castle, gave you like 32 points, and you just saw a little glimpse of what that backcourt is going to look like for the next 10 to 15 years if injury permits. Very, very talented bunch. Do you know what I mean? And obviously with Fox, you saw his performance in Game 4. I mean, San Antonio were down 17 at the half and won the game by 21. Their defense, Wemby's greatness, and Fox closing out the game. You know what I mean? Gave you 11 points in the fourth quarter. Overall, their backcourt and then having Wemby as the last line of defense, that team's a walking cheat code. Proper cheat code.
There'll be an issue if you have to face them in the later rounds. Hopefully, I'm foreshadowing something, but we'll see. We'll find out.
I want to face San Antonio. If we can, I want to face them.
Be an interesting matchup. They're going. Let's say for argument's sake, they're going to go through for the next round because that's what it looks like on paper, and that's what it looks like on the court at the minute as well. They're scheduled to face either the Denver Nuggets or the Minnesota Timberwolves, and just at the start of the series, it was looking like the Nuggets didn't have much for the Timberwolves in regards to, you look at all the playoff series over the years, you look at how they matched up this year, you look at the incredible defense that Rudy Gobert especially has been playing on Jokić, and we'll get into some Jokić chat a little bit later. But the main crux of it at the minute is 3-2 at the moment, and Anthony Edwards is not there. He's missing out on the series, potentially the rest of the playoffs as well, through some sort of knee injury, which Stateside, simple as this, you don't want to see it. I feel like we're being robbed of, I wouldn't say an all-timer or anything like that. I did say it was my favourite series coming into, the first round of the Western Conference side of the playoffs. Yeah. But this stings, definitely, not seeing Ant and this series play at its full potential.
It's very disappointing because I think it was Game 4. Yeah, it was Game 4. Where DiVincenzo, first couple minutes, it's like I think he tried to go for the ball, extended his leg, and then
his Achilles, isn't
it? Tore his Achilles, and then just before the half, Anthony Edwards, I think, blocked Jamal Murray's shot, landed awkwardly, hyperextended knee. He's out as well, and now they're saying it's a bone bruise. He's gonna be out for a couple of weeks. When you have these type of injuries in the playoffs, your season's done. I mean, that's their starting backcourt. And somehow, I would assume it gives you 42, 43 points, wins you Game 4. And from Denver's point of view, that can't happen. That cannot happen. And then Jokić trying to go up to Jalen McDaniels, who's been punking you all series, by the way. I mean, calling you out and still backing it up. And he's not even the star player, he's the role player. You know what I mean? What the Nuggets have shown this series has been far from convincing at all. But with how things are presently constructed, they have an opportunity. They have an opportunity to take this to a Game 7 at their home court and beat the Timberwolves. The Timberwolves just don't have enough now. I know I would assume and McDaniels and Rudy, they've played well, but you don't have Anthony Edwards. You don't have DiVincenzo, especially Anthony Edwards. So if you're the Nuggets, when you're the more fitter team, I know you don't have Aaron Gordon, but still, you have more than enough to overcome this 3-1 deficit. And then obviously you can then take it from there. If you go on and then beat San Antonio, a lot of people are going to forget about that Timberwolves series. But you can't lose to the Timberwolves, as I was saying to you last episode.
Let me tell you this now, because yes, you're saying can't lose to the Timberwolves. Obviously, we record these, a week in advance, so a lot could happen between now and the next time we jump back on the mic. But let's say I put this scenario in front of you, and it's true that for some reason, Nikola Jokić and the Denver Nuggets, of course, just don't get it done, and they get done out in the first round by a weakened Minnesota Timberwolves. Is that a stain on his legacy? Is that a stain on, the player that we think Jokic to be? He couldn't get it done against, a broken Timberwolves.
It's definitely an indictment on how he's viewed currently. Do you know what I mean? Because a lot of people view him as top 5 offensive players of all time. You might ask some people, they'll say he is the most or the best offensive player of all time, can do everything.
I've heard that.
Do you know what I mean? Saying he's 3-time MVP, current best player in the world. But in my opinion, he hasn't been the best player in the world since SGA won the ring last year. Since SGA beat him. You know what I mean? There's been question marks, like I've spoken to people online and stuff. There's been question marks in Game 7 at home against Denver. You were up 20 at home. Against Minnesota, you were up 20 at home. You lost. You were up 2-1 against OKC. At home, you lost. You were up 2-1. You were down 2-1. An opportunity to go up 2-2 when Anthony Edwards and DiVincenzo go down. You lost. You've lost all these games. And I know it's not just Jokic, but you're the star of the team. You're the superstar player. When the Nuggets win, Jokic will get most of the praise. If they lose, he has to get the blame. You know what I mean? You take the rough of the smooth. That's just how sports are. That's just what sports is. So, I'm just saying... I mean, they can lose the series, but they shouldn't. Do you know what I mean? Because, like I'm saying, this opportunity is just too good. This opportunity is just too good not to take advantage of it.
Yeah, and even then, would you worry? Let's say that they do the expecting, and then the Nuggets do end up going through. Do you then worry about them in the next round, because then they have to face, in what we think is going to be a buoyant Spurs team who look like they have their injury worries, but with the defense that's been on show, in the round 1 versus the Timberwolves, like if I was a Nuggets fan, for example, I'd be very concerned.
But then all series is different. Do you know what I mean? And I don't want to use just that one regular season game before the end of the season as like a benchmark, but the Nuggets and Jokic look a little more comfortable against that younger team in San Antonio. I mean, Jokic looks a little more comfortable against Wemby than a Rudy, which is a bit backwards, but...
But you say that, and then you have to think about, playoffs, a lot of the time it's about momentum, right? It's about taking the momentum off of a win and taking it as far as you can in a series. And you think about how well the young guards especially are playing, and some of their role players, and they're just getting Wemby back. So he's going to, start to build up his own fitness and build up his own sort of momentum in his own individual right. And we've been worrying about the defense and the injury issues that the Nuggets have for themselves. Like I said, if I was a Denver fan, I'd be really worried going into that series, just because they don't have the experience. They don't have the experience, but they've somehow, again, looking forwards, have trounced the Trailblazers. So now if we're going into this series with this noise all around Denver, with all of this chat about Jokic and the team's defense, if I'm the Spurs, I'm low-key licking my lips, but that's just me though.
But then, if they both end up facing each other, you're looking at both San Antonio and Denver winning 3 straight before they face each other. So they'll both be on 3 games winning streaks. Do you know what I mean? So they'll both still be feeling good, obviously in different situations, but 3 wins in a row in postseason, you can't get any other way. That's what I'm saying. Right. This opportunity is too good for Denver to pass up. They can't lose to the Timberwolves. Yeah. And also, in my opinion as well, I think the product of the NBA, as sad as I feel for the Timberwolves, I don't want to see them against San Antonio. Do you know what I mean? I don't want to see the Sumo Hoops. No offense, like it'd be great, but bro, I want to see superstar players face each other. You know what I mean? That's what the playoffs is all about, man. Like I said, I feel bad for the Timberwolves. I just don't want to see them against San Antonio, because San Antonio is just gonna be up on them. And
listen, you don't want to see the Mike Conley rendezvous. Hey, dust them off. Let me see what you got for me.
This ain't the grit and grind. I'm not gonna see none of that.
Oh man, hey man. Well,
no.
Don't worry. Well, one more series to get through just before we hit our first little junction on the podcast. Stateside Report UK. Please like, share, comment, subscribe if you enjoy what we're listening to right now. Of course, Rockets, Lakers. I'll say it before and I'll say it again. You told me. The Rockets can't lose this. He told me this. You know, the energy that he was giving, you know, to the Nuggets, he gave to the Rockets before the series even started. And I was hearing it. I was. And then first 3 games, I was like, chai, I don't know if this is going to really land. Because even with Kevin Durant back, it was looking high-key embarrassing, you know? Now, you know, 3-1 as the, you know, things stand. I'd like to think on paper the Lakers should get the job done. However, you know, we can only talk about what it is now, and you know the series is still in the balance with them going to LA, if I'm not mistaken. Stateside, have talked to me. How are you feeling in regards to, you know, the series, how it's gone, and probably the, you know, I'm not putting it out there, but I guess I am, the eventuality that I don't think the Rockets are going to come out of this one.
Yeah, I'll be surprised if they did. I mean, start of the series, we were obviously giving credit to LeBron, saying how the type of offense that JJ's run for the Lakers has leaned into LeBron's IQ, which, like we said, is the best ever, especially in this type of playoff environment. It also preserves his energy, so you're not playing like random, you know, freestyle type basketball. And LeBron's not. He ain't got that at this stage of his career at the age of 41. And in three, game three, when the Rockets are up 6 with 25 seconds left, Jabari Smith has the ball under zero pressure. And since I've been watching basketball, there's always been one saying that has stuck with me, and I've always seen like proof of it. The bad teams will always find a way to lose. Every single time. Bro, Jabari has no pressure on him, and he floats a pass.
This is when they're up 6 as well, right? Or up 3 or something?
Bro, they're up 6. There's a 2-possession game with the ball.
Embarrassing.
Bro, you know what I saw that? I went to go pee. I missed everything. Bro, I missed everything. I was like, bro, let's check this off. Yeah. I went to go pee. I come back. I didn't even take that long. And it was tie game. I was like, what do you mean it's tie game? So then I like rewind. I was like, oh my God. I can't believe it. Bro, you give up the ball. You foul Marcus Smart on a 3. Clutch from him. You made all 3 free throws. Mm-hmm. You give the ball to Reed Shepherd. LeBron's corners him. You can imagine his whole beating off his chest, seeing LeBron like pressuring him. LeBron back taps the ball. It's like taking candy from a baby, bro. Lakers get the ball back. LeBron gets the ball on the right-hand side. Pump fakes, cashes it.
Drills it.
And you're seeing the energy being sucked out of the building in Houston. Şengün tries to do a whole back down. Hits the side of the backboard. LeBron was this close. Inches away from hitting them for game winner. That would have been heartbreaking. But either way, with that going to overtime, bro, the Lakers were always going to win that. Because the momentum was with them. Do you know what I mean? Like I'm saying with the Rockets, it's just been a dire situation. That's been the epitome of this season. Do you know what I mean? Obviously, they want to use KD as like a deflection and this and the other, but that franchise is rotten at the core. Do you know what I mean? They need to change a lot of things. Something has to happen this season, even if they get to the next round, which I don't think they will.
Well, I'll put the scenario in front of you that they get bounced at this first round, and they show a lot of, you know, what they've been showing for majority of the series, which has been embarrassing, especially on the offensive end. Whose feet are you putting the most blame? Is it, you know, Ime, the coach? Is it KD as the person who is supposed to elevate this franchise but has in a way taken it backwards because they reached the second round last year, and in this scenario they've been bounced out of the first round? Is it the lack of development from, you know, the younger players, the younger stars that are supposed to, you know, be carrying their weight in regards to helping the Rockets win? Whose feet do you put the most blame at should the Rockets get bounced?
In my opinion, you got to look at Ime in the front office. There's only so much. You can't put too much blame on KD, bro. They won 50+ games. Like, what else do you want from? What else do you want from KD and the Rockets players? You might not love the style of basketball, but they won 50+ games. Adams had season-ending injury. Van Vliet had ACL injury before the season started. So the front office, knowing that, you get a point guard in. Do you know what I mean? If you know that you don't trust your player development in terms of getting Reed Shepherd, Aaron Holiday, and these guys up to the level to play point, then get a decent point guard in. I mean, KD in his career, I think it was Jeff Teague that even said this. KD in his career, he's always had Hall of Fame playmakers. We're not expecting that from the Rockets, but he's had Russ, he's had Harden, he's had Kyrie, he's had Steph. Mm-hmm. But he's had these guys, so all you bring KD is let's just score the ball.
Yeah, Chris Paul as well for a minute.
That's what, bro. KD can give you 25 in his sleep. But if you expect him to play, make trying to decipher double teams, but that's what separates LeBron and a KD because LeBron can do all. LeBron can do it all. KD is he's a legendary specialist in terms of like scoring the basketball. But if you're asking him to do something that just isn't, he's not comfortable with. I know he's been in the league for almost 2 decades, but still, his strengths are his strengths. His weaknesses are just what it is. So I think it's very incompetent from not only the front office not getting the right personnel in to elevate what they already have, and also Ime Udoka. I feel like he could have worked better in terms of giving the Rockets fans a better brand of basketball to watch.
Yeah, that's fair. I was thinking about it. I was initially gonna say Kevin Durant. You have to say this was just a bad season, just because I understand what you're saying in regards to they won 50 games, but I think you have to look a little bit deeper into it. Just because you think of the chemistry issues, you think of still a legend. I don't want the SUVs pulling up to my gaff, but you have to think about the burner tweets and the team chemistry issues that must have had. It's not about being right or wrong. It's about how your teammates feel about you bad-mouthing them. That's not supposed to fly, especially if you're supposed to be, one of the leaders of the team and, not even arguably the best player on the team, the person that's supposed to be the person that's taking you over the edge. Well, this guy doesn't even believe in me. So what's going on here? What's happening? So I think, yes, it may, unfortunately, he's probably going to have to take the brunt of it. It might even cost him his job. I wouldn't be surprised if they sack him. But KD has to have a long, hard look at himself. And, the question I was even going to ask you next was, do you even see KD? You know how he can be. He's a very temperamental guy. He can be happy one day, but he can be extremely unhappy and want something else very quickly. I don't think that's going to be the case just because, I want to say they just re-upped him, if I'm not mistaken. So he's going to be in Phoenix, I'd like to think, at least through next season. But in terms of, you know him quite well, in terms of how happy he's going to be with this situation, especially if this front office move how they're moving, in terms of not constructing the roster properly to fit his strengths, do you see the happiness and his, vibe in and around the team being an issue moving forwards, especially if they not get swept, but especially if they get knocked out in this fashion against the Lakers?
I mean, I definitely do see it. You have to take that into account. I'm not saying KD's always been the best teammate to get along with and stuff, but there's still value in KD in year 19 or 20 or whatever it is. Do you know what I mean? So like I'm saying, you just got to really look at it in terms of basketball wise. What can I put next to a Şengün, KD, and then Thompson? If you're saying that's your big three, what can I put around them to elevate them? Knowing their strengths, knowing their weaknesses. With a man, he can't shoot the ball, so you need. I mean, it's a playmaker, it's a table setter. Knowing that obviously Van Vliet is going to come back, but then is Ime Udoka the right coach? Depending on obviously how they flame out, he will probably end up losing his job. Do you know what I mean? But it's just more so bringing the right personnel in to not only elevate obviously the team chemistry on the court, but off the court as well.
As we always say, Stateside mantra, let's see, in regards to the Rockets, just because, hey, I'm nervous for them. Would you be nervous for, side note as well, just because we won't be able to speak, just in case the Lakers do actually make it? Will you be nervous if the Lakers, have to step into the peak?
We want Lakers. Make the Lakers. I mean, bro, the Lakers fans have been talking spicy, bro. And I'm like, bro, I was looking at Ski, like, Ski, this is your fault. This is your fault. Look how you got these Lakers fans talking. One of them was like, oh, if you take SGA off OKC and you put LeBron there, OKC still win because of the players that you have. And like, bro, you're out of it. But hey, Lakers fans, man, they're all hyperbolic merchants, bro.
Them man won the chip already in their eyes, man. I get it. Luka's not even back yet.
They were stressing about the OKC. I'm like, bro, enjoy this now. You know what I mean?
They didn't even think that they were coming through this. I ain't gonna lie. They didn't think they was coming through the Rockets.
They didn't. No, they didn't actually. I didn't think so as well, to be fair.
No, I didn't think so. I'll be real, I didn't think so. I thought 6, maybe 5 if, the Rockets are on job. But, hey,
True.
Lakers look like
I didn't have KD missing the whole series.
But even though, like I said, even with KD, they've looked poor in
They lost game 2 with him.
Yeah, man.
Anyway, the Rockets, funny old team, man.
Would you have been nervous if you had to face them, by the way? Because you're still good.
No way. No. I'm never going to try and be, no.
What do you say, sweep?
Bro, as long as we've got number 2, anything is possible. I say this to people and I mean it from the bottom of my heart, bro. As long as we've got number 2, anything's possible.
Oh gosh. Anyway, enough OKC glaze, enough Western Conference chat for now.
Right.
Stateside Dumph, shall we play a game?
Let's play a game. Let's do it. Again, guys, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.
That jazzy stuff, man. Come on, man. This is the Stateside Report, episode 83. We're here, all playoffs. Going to be in the summer, and we'll be here next season as well. Do you know what I mean?
Season after that.
Exactly, matey. Exactly, matey.
We got to try and get an NBA player on here somehow, sometime.
Mate, I saw Terrence Ross doing the rants as of recently.
Terrence Ross.
You know, yeah. Do you remember him on the Magic on the Raptors as well? Good dunker.
Yeah.
Good dunker,
Okay.
mate. We'll get one. Just trust me, man. We've had players on before. We'll have players on again. Don't worry. We've already said episode 100. The commish.
Yeah, the commish.
He's coming, man.
I mean,
He's even introduced some rules. Don't worry. We'll get into the new draft rules that's been laid out very shortly. But play a game now, Stateside Off. It's a first round game, or first round related game, I should say. You know, there's some upsets that have happened or could happen because, you know, they're not all finished as of yet. And it's a very simple game. We've done, you know, a bit of this, bit of that before. And I want to bring it back again. I basically want you to tell me which is more of a shocking first round exit. I'm going to give you two instances of, you know, playoff shocks. Recent ones. I'm not going to, you know, take you all the way back to the 90s. Sorry to the unks that are listening. We're going to keep it 2000s and onwards. I'm going to give you two instances of first round shocks, and you just have to tell me which one is peak. More peaker. Can you do that for me? Can you do that for the people?
let's do it.
And it's you should get the rules of the game very simple. If you're playing at home, Stateside Up. If you're playing right in front of me as well, which playoff loss is more serious? The Golden State Warriors beating the Dallas Mavericks in 2007, or the Memphis Grizzlies beating the San Antonio Spurs in 2011?
I'm gonna go with the we believe Golden State team being the '07 Mavericks team. Dirk still goes on about it saying it's the worst loss of his career. I think
They won
MVP that year as
67
well.
games that year.
MVP as well that year, and yeah, they just capitulated. So yeah, give me that one.
We're going to talk about fake one seeds very shortly as well. Well, potential fake one seeds anyway. But let's not dismiss that Grizzlies team, though. That was grit and grind at its finest against Tim Duncan and them.
Bro, I felt the wrath of a grit and grind team, bro. We've lost our fair share games and series to that bastard team. So, tell you that now, man. Bro, that grit and grind team was not to be played with.
Something serious.
Facts.
They brought something different that do you know what's mad? I don't think we'll see ever again, which is crazy.
No.
Crazy to say.
Bro, Detroit, guy, let me not even talk, bro. Certain teams out in the East try and play prison basketball in 2026. What, modern day?
Hey, man.
Aye.
Get there. We'll get there. Don't worry, matey. We'll get there.
Let me not jump
Which playoff series, which one was more peak? The Miami Heat beating the Bucks in 2023, or the 76ers beating the Bulls in 2012? Which one was more of a shock?
It has to be the Jimmy run. Bro, it was just a run of giant killing. And we see Giannis was still at his best. It was still around the Bucks championship window.
Yeah.
Yeah, championship window. And he just went in there. I think he beat Boston as well in that run. After they just gone to the finals the year before. Jimmy was on smoke. So give me that one.
The Sixers Bulls was unfortunately the D Rose injury as well. They were obviously expected to beat the Sixers quite handily, but no D Rose. Yeah, they had issues, unfortunately. I don't want to say one-man team, but it was a one-man team, wasn't it?
Facts.
So shout out to the Sixers. I mean, they did their job. I think they got. Am I wrong to say that they met Boston very soon after, and they took him to 7? I could be wrong. I could be thinking of the year before that. But hey man, yeah, the D Rose thing was a sad series of events. But the Jimmy stuff was good. Jimmy stuff was great watching, great viewing. Last one, matey. Last one. Which first round series was more shocking? The Boston Celtics sweeping KD's Nets 2022, or Minnesota Timberwolves sweeping the Phoenix Suns in 2024?
Oh my
Both
God.
your goals? Yeah. Mudded.
I mean, Ant was talking that talk to KD as well whilst he was beating him up. But the Boston Celtics, bro, they manhandled the hell out of KD and Kyrie, bro.
Kyrie was on his nonsense as well. You know, the Boston stuff, like, got in his head. It's got in his head.
Give me the Timberwolves one because give me the Timberwolves one. Just also, I mean, they were both bad, but give me the Timberwolves one where, and like I said, bro, because he said KD's his favorite player of all time, bro. He was beating him up and he was talking to him. He was telling him about it. You know what I mean? That's what you like to see, man. You know what I mean? Yeah, give me that. I mean,
I hear it. I do. But in terms of what was more shocking was that Nets team getting swept.
It was game one. It was game one. I think Tatum got the ball spun off like KD and laid it up.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, man. Yeah. That series, I'm not gonna lie, Boston. Yeah, of course, fair play because they did their job more than their job. They
got to the finals that year.
The Nets, yeah. However, that Nets team was too good to be getting swept in the first round. Not even get a game. No, that's shocking. Just me though. You know?
Yeah, I mean, hey, we're splitting hairs at this point, and unfortunately, it's my goat that's stuck in between both. You know exactly what you're doing, but we'll move on.
I didn't mean to pile onto your goat today, but in regards to what he's doing now and what he was doing a few years ago, hey man, not winning basketball. Let's just say it like that.
Hey, we'll move on.
Touch the nerve. We've touched nerves.
If only he didn't move. If only he didn't go to state. If only he stayed or went somewhere else. But then, if KD had stayed in OKC or went somewhere else, and he didn't win a championship, how will people look at him? They'll say, "Oh, KD's," they're giving praise for not winning.
They would look at him, and I would look at him and say, "This is the best player in NBA history that hasn't won a championship."
That stinks, man.
I know. I mean, it's not reality, so you're lucky, but that's what it would have been.
The mountain to see what prosperity felt like. You know what I mean?
By the way, before we move, do you put much stock into the argument that obviously KD's won his 2 rings, but he won them with Steph Curry? So do you put stock into, the chat about KD's like overall legacy not meaning that much just because, outside of Stephen Curry, basically hasn't done much?
I mean, it's like what I keep saying, and yeah, people say, "Oh, Curry won before and after KD," but I'm saying when KD was there, he was the best player on the team. He was the one that was winning the Finals MVPs. You know what I mean? He was the one that was winning Golden State those championships. And with that, and with KD not being there in 2019, they lost to Kawhi. Do you know what I mean? KD was ultimately the one that took that team over the edge. But I'm saying KD's always been a great. KD will always be a great. It's just there's always going to be what ifs of if he stayed in OKC and he still kept losing to that Golden State team, or he finally got past them and lost to LeBron Cavs team in the finals or whatever. How will people still view KD? Do you know what I mean? Would we have got that great Houston team if KD didn't go to Golden State? Does Harden end up playing at the level that he played at, knowing that he had to conquer that KD and Curry team? You know what I mean? In terms of like history and like modern history for the NBA, like I'm saying, that 17-18 Golden State team, best team ever assembled. No team beats that. In a 7-game series, MJ's Bulls are not touching that team. No chance. It's not happening. So in terms of like history, looking at it that way, is definitely something like that's stamped. But then obviously, it's not all straightforward. You know what I mean?
Yeah, of course it's not.
Legacy hits and like talks and stuff. But we know who KD is. If we don't have a gender blinded eyes. Anyway, sorry, we've got a game to play.
I don't know who you just fired that shot to, yeah? It wasn't me. I don't come for him, even though he's massive. I come for him. He said, someone's going to catch this. I don't know who you are, but you'll be safe.
What waffle? I don't know where I was going with that.
Oh, matey, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. There's a clip in there somewhere, mate. Don't even worry about
Let's play a game. So
we don't have to play a game because, in the East, we're going East now, matey. They're playing games in Detroit. They're playing games all over the gaff. And, of course, for the people that, aren't clued up in this series, let me set the table for you. Pistons, of course, number 1 seed in the Eastern Conference. So naturally, you'd like to think, they're going to get a play-in team. The worst of the play-in teams as well, might I say, by the way. They're coming to the series with the Magic, who maybe I should rise up my Eastern Conference Finals pick. I don't know. Maybe I should rise it.
You were up and down with the Magic this season.
I know I was, but I know what I saw. And especially in these playoffs, even though I wrote them off, they're proving me right, So who's winning in the end? But on paper, the Pistons were supposed to smoke the Magic just because they're too up and down as a team. Even if I pull up their record in the Eastern Conference, where were they? They were 45 and 37, which is actually a decent record. However, there was much better teams in the Eastern Conference, and that showed because they finished 8th in the East. So because of that, you're thinking Detroit, they have an MBV candidate over there in Cade. They're facing a weaker team in the Magic. They should do them. However, they're the ones getting done. Stateside, talk to me in regards to what you're seeing from more so what you're not seeing from the Pistons and how the Magic are kind of just having their way with them. Because as it speaks right now, 3-1 in the series, it's not looking good.
I mean, this series kind of shows that, bro, sports is not playing on paper. You know what I mean? And in the playoffs, it's all about matchups, or mainly to do with matchups. I mean, if you find a hellacious matchup in the Magic and you're Detroit, you're cooked. Because Detroit, as we mentioned last episode, their strength is leveraging their size, speed, athleticism, and bullying teams. But it's like, what's the phrase? See, English, my English precedes me. Excuse me.
What do you want? Go on.
Force meets an immovable object, or whatever the saying is.
Oh, the unstoppable force meets the immovable object.
Do you know what I mean? Yeah. And that's exactly what the Magic are. They're a big physical team that likes to bully other teams as well, like to take advantage. So it's all within margin. Do you know what I mean? Both teams can't shoot a lick. In like the 2010s when you're watching like Kobe hoops and Tim Duncan hoops, and you see someone like shoot a 3 or like make a 3. It looks like a magical thing. Like 3s come out like a premium because no one can shoot 3s.
Yeah.
That's exactly what it looks like in this series. Because you can shoot a 3 and that could be a franchise-altering 3. That's how big and valuable those 3s are. Because no one can shoot them, which makes it fun. I've actually enjoyed this series a lot because it's been so scrappy, so gritty. Obviously, there's been some playoff drops, some playoff rises. Obviously, you want to address the elephant in the room.
Yeah, let's address the elephant in the room, please. Jalen Duren has been stinky, and it's costing his team quite literally the playoff series.
Bro, someone tweeted saying the way Jalen Duren's playing, he's not even cute anymore. This was a guy.
Bro, after he got dunked on, and I said, oh man. And he sat down on the floor and slid. I said, oh man. The aura is disappearing through the dream. What?
Bro, someone said Duren is giving him the ick.
Like, bro, I can't even look at bro no more.
Now, all jokes aside, though, he's having a honking series, bro. And he's looking to get paid. Bro, Wendell Carter's I don't want to get into politics, but taking his gal is taking money out of his pockets, bro. Bro, it's embarrassing. You know what I mean? And obviously Cade on the other end as well. There's only so much I can blame Cade.
Nah, he's doing what he can, to be fair.
Bro, he's averaging 7 turnovers. 7. He might as well put on an Orlando Magic jersey, bro.
But, bro, the rest of them, man, ain't hooping either.
Bro, there's no space.
What do you want?
There's no space. He gets the ball, he's driving into the lane, everyone's clogged in there. So if you're not... And it's like, if you're trying to set screens, there's no advantage to, like, pass the ball to Duren on the roll because they're going under the screen. So when you try and dump the ball in, Jalen Suggs is coming from the weak side. When I say weak side, he's already in the paint anyway. You know what I mean? He's knocking the ball away. He's getting it's a pick 6. You know what I mean? He's giving away at least 2 pick sixes a game. It's sad to see, and he's so talented. But it's like, it's a combination of Cade not being there just yet in terms of like his scoring playmaking and just shoot and touch in the 17 mid-range and the 3. And also the team construct around him, bro, is leaning more into his weaknesses, bro. Do you know what I mean? Because like I'm saying, there's only so much playmaking you can do when you don't have quality play finishes. Do you know what I mean? And it's like there's just not enough of a mixture of both. You have a lot of dogs on your team, but you need some flair. You need some sort of guile on your team. I know Detroit basketball, and you wanna hold that identity and that won you 60 plus games, but in the playoffs, if you can't make shots, KD said this in in one of these like documentaries he was in. It's like if you want to win big games, you want to win playoff games, you need to make shots. He said, I can call one of you guys in the studio that's interviewing me to bend your knees and move your feet. You know what I mean? And stick D, play defense. But to make shots, it just takes certain like caliber of players to do that. And the Detroit Pistons just aren't doing that to the level.
So can I ask you a question in regards to their roster construction? Just because you like to think, look, we're laughing at Jalen Duren, but he's going to be a part of the Pistons' future. They'll be silly if they would think about moving him just based off of this one playoff series. We've seen Jarrett Allen, off the top of my head in the past, have absolute stinkers of playoff series, still get paid and still be key contributors today to the Cavaliers. However, you say it's a bit of a throwback game in the past. You don't want that mantra to stick around for too long because, as you said and as KD has said, you need to be able to make shots in the playoffs. So now I'm looking at the roster construction. Cade, he's probably not going anywhere. People like Duncan Robertson and the other shooters, they're necessary because there's a lack of shooting on this team. Your Tobias Harris maybe he's the answer. Maybe he's not playing consistent enough. Hoops. Maybe he has to move. But there's a big outlier there, and there's also one in Houston as well. In a sense, in the Thompson twin. I saw. Where are you in regards to he's a young player and he still has to develop and he's giving them grit. He's part of the culture that they've set over there in Detroit. However, if the jump shot is going to be how it is, and Jalen Duren is he's not a shooter, so he's not helping in regards to freeing up the lanes. Do you have to think about his future on the team? Because if you're building around these guys specifically in regards to Cade, Duren, and then the rest, this is a bit of an awkward situation for us all now, isn't it? And for men as well in Houston.
Bro, it's funny you say that because I retweeted the tweet saying the Thompson twins need to see if Lethal Shooter has a 2-for-1 deal.
Hey, I saw him doing Tari Eason.
Bro.
I didn't see him in there, but
Bro, they found Assault Thompson in the clutch. And he wasn't even close. I think they're averaging like 60% from the free throw line. Bro, that's center numbers. Yeah, that's Shaq numbers. 60% from the free throw.
Wing in 2026, that's not cutting it, bro.
But then they're so unparalleledly athletic. There's no one else that has that sort of burst, twitchy, electric athleticism that they both have. Do you know what I mean? And so Thompson was top 3 in Defensive Player of the Year. Him, Chet Wemby. So it's like his strengths lean very heavily into Detroit type basketball. So obviously same with men. But it's like, and this is their third year in the league or something like that. You don't want to judge them too quickly, but you have to try and find a way to make them productive, because players like Saul Thompsons, Amen Thompsons, Andre Robersons, and all of these guys, if you're only good on one end, but not really great on the other end, bro. And I said this before the playoffs started. As great as these guys are athletically, they are easy to be schemed in playoff situations. Teams can take that strength away from you if you're not good at shooting playmaking.
As we spoke about the Great and Grad Grizzlies, I saw a series not that long ago, well, a long time ago now actually, where the Golden State Warriors put Andrew Bogut on Tony Allen because they knew he ain't doing a thing on Andrew Bogut. So Andrew Bogut, you sit in the paint, that man will sit in the corner and you'll clog up the lanes. No problem, it's easy. I can easily see that for any of the Thompson twins. Like I can imagine the series I'm watching the Spurs on TV now. Imagine a series where the Spurs face the Houston Rockets. The easiest scheme to do would be put Wemby on Amen and then do whatever he needs to do because Amen's not going to be making any of his shots. So if the Pistons want to make, any sort of noise, look, I'm not saying trade him because he's still young enough and it looks like he has the drive to better himself and hopefully become a better shooter. But is it actually possible? And do you have to think about maybe moving him? You have to think about it.
I mean, it'll be a tough conversation for them to have, 100%. But like I said, it's just very difficult because men made first team all defense last year. Sar's gonna make it this year, so it's one of those. You still got like great value in terms of the defensive side of the ball, but it's not easy. It's not easy to make that decision or to let that type of talent go. But I'm just not always. I'm never gonna be on the opinion of, or if they develop a jump shot. Bro, if your jump shot is this bad, this non-existent, couple years into the league, when are you gonna learn this? When is this gonna be part of your subconscious? I know, like Aaron Gordon and stuff, like they've learned, they've developed a bit, but
Yeah, I'm trying to think. Like Marcus Smart's jump shot was janky coming into the league. It's okay now,
but it's hard
The
to
old
make
heads,
in the
the old
role.
heads are always like, oh, Magic Johnson couldn't shoot, and he became a decent shooter, brother. If you don't put that tired line back in the closet, please.
Actually, it's hard to make the exception the rule, though. You know what I mean? Because, bro, most of these guys just never learn to shoot to a level where it's really hurting the team. That's what I'm saying. When people talk about Giannis, he's shooting this 40% or 50% from mid range, I'm like, bro, teams will give Giannis that shot every day of the week. You don't want Giannis driving to the paint, attacking the paint. You want him shooting a mid range shot if it's 46% or whatever. Bro, this is because that's not what's gonna hurt you. So, like I said, it's going to be a tough conversations to have in Detroit in terms of like their roster building moving forward. But then obviously there has to be an understanding of your core are still very young. Do you know what I mean? So you have to give them that room as well to develop. But the others around them, there has to be some sort of shake-ups because you can't keep playing this prison hoops in 2026 and expect to win. 'Cause they fooled me. I'll tell you this now, they fooled me. I thought a Detroit gritty team, they're different from the Cavs last year. They've actually got a little bit of a stronger underbelly where they're harder to beat. Bro, the Magics are shooting at least, I think the Magic are shooting like 29% from three or something.
Yeah, they suck.
They're
Yeah,
up
shooting the ball. Yeah.
3-1. What?
Well, you say that as a closing thought. Let's not just dismiss the Magic like they're not doing, good things beating a one seed. Like we are just talking about shocks very earlier, and then, maybe next year this time we'll be talking about the Magic being a shock upset for the number one seed Pistons. If the next series that we're about to talk about, which is, the Raptors, who have come back, by the way, but we'll get into them very, very shortly. Do you think whoever sees them, the Magic, in the next series, they got some issues? They got to think about, what they're doing, what they're putting on tape?
100%, because it's very hard to like defend that physicality that the Magic is going to bring. But you'd be happy because that team can't shoot. So if you're a team that can actually shoot a bit, you're really looking at Cleveland, you'd hope Cleveland can take care of business. But the Raptors aren't going to make it easy for them. Do you know what I mean? The Raptors aren't going to make it easy for them. But I think if it's Cleveland Raptors, I put my money on Cleveland beating the Raptors. I'll put my money on Cleveland beating Orlando, just off of the fact that the shot creation, the ability to actually make shots, play make, harder than Mitch should be enough. Should be, but
it's not set in stone now, because I remember we were talking about the Cavs and thinking like, oh yeah, sweep. At least I was, because I didn't think the Raptors had anything for them. I felt like, Brandon Ingram weren't giving me enough. I felt like Scotty Barnes isn't going to be able to do enough to carry the weight of the expectation because the Cavs were playing really good basketball and the Raptors weren't. However, 2 games later, it's now a series, it's 2-2. I'm very surprised that this is the case. Definitely that, this is going to be at least 6 or maybe even 7 games. I listened to a little bit of the post-match from the Cavs side of things, and they were talking about we just weren't making shots. We were kind of messing around. We were playing with our food a little bit.
Right.
And Stacey, I don't know if you can talk to me in regards to if you're buying that from the Cavs in regards to, do you think there's any sort of worry in regards to, their ability to close out this series? Maybe they're looking a little bit too far ahead in the future. Maybe they dismiss the Raptors entirely. I don't know. Where are you at in regards to, the Raptors catching the Cavaliers in the series?
I mean, ultimately, the Raptors, all they've done is just protect home court. You know what I mean? You have to give credit to
Rajakovic.
him. You have to give credit to the coach, but you have to give credit to Scotty Barnes. Ingram has been very shaky this series, but gave you 30-plus points in Game 4. The lefty from Duke,
RJ
Barrett, who's someone I haven't been the biggest fan of, but he actually gave you great production in Game 4 as well. You know what I mean? They've been great. The rookie CMB, Boyles.
Murray Boyles, yeah.
He's been very good.
Good
Very,
defender,
very
mate.
good.
Good defender.
I mean, I think there's some guy called Battle that gave him like 7 threes or something in Game 3.
Yeah, the small guards. I think it's Jamal Sheed, if I'm not mistaken.
Rashad, yeah, he's been giving him great production.
Making good plays. Great
Apparently,
plays.
quickly hasn't seen the series So the fact that they've actually won 2 games without Emmanuel quickly, like they've really grinded this out. But that's what the playoffs is. Do you know what I mean? You win by any means necessary. You don't get extra points for winning pretty. Do you know what I mean? A win's a win, whether it's by 50 points or 1 point. And they've grinded it out, and they've got 2 valuable wins in front of their home fans as well. So it just gives them a bit of hope, and that's really what it's all about.
I'm looking at some of the shooting splits in Game 4, and bloody hell, they were chipping the paint off the rim. Both teams, by the way. The Cavs were 10 for 40, which is 25% from free. And the Raptors, who won the game, were even worse. They were 4 for 30 from free, 13%. And that's the question, that relates to my question in regards to, the Cavs say, they were playing around, they were making shots. Well, at least in Game 4, the Raptors weren't either. They weren't making, anything significant in regards to, doing damage from the 3-point line or even from from 2. So this is where I'm calling into question. Now, I've had my concerns about James Harden in the playoffs. And, when it really gets to the crunch, he either just doesn't perform or at the end of the day just doesn't get it done, and we have multiple series that you can point to for evidence of that. If the Cavs, it gets to the point of, the Raptors are up, or it gets to a point where there's a critical moment in the playoff series where, James Harden, you expect him to come up, and then classic, he just doesn't. I can't even say, are you looking at him differently? Because I don't know how you look at him anyway in regards to, his playoff experience and his playoff kind of outlook, his playoff image. But let's say the Cavs find a way not to get this done, and he proves his doubters right. He proves his haters right. What does that tell you about James Harden? What does it tell you about the Cleveland Cavaliers as well moving forwards?
I mean, them bringing in James Harden basically put out the message to say that it's kind of win now sort of thing. Do you know what I mean? Because Donovan Mitchell, he's had his question marks as well. I mean, we can't just escape, just kind of let him go, because he there's been question marks on him as well. Can he be the one option when he's shown that he can't be to even get into the conference finals? James Harden, he's had his problems in the playoffs. There's been question marks that we're still gonna wait to see if they can both answer, because it's still 2-2. It's still 2-2, but if they don't get past the Raptors, at least if they get knocked out in the first round, again something will have to change again, or they might look at it and say, let's not hit the panic button just yet. Let's give both Harden and Mitchell the whole season. You know what I mean? Build that chemistry. But when I look at this Cavs team, as good as they are, they don't have like an aggressive scorer in like the forward position. There's a lot of jump shooting by Mitchell and Harden. Someone said something in the lines of, as the playoff series goes on, you start to gauge Harden's step back threes, and his jump shot slowly fades. He slowly loses legs. He fails to get accustomed to like the physicality. It kind of consumes him a little bit, which forces him to be very inefficient. You've muted your mic.
He's also like 35, 36 years old.
He's up there in age as well. Do you know what I mean? So it's all that compounded together. It doesn't spell good news, but then, like I'm saying, everyone has hope when, Harden comes onto their team. They're like, oh, we might get the best version. And you find out the best version is probably for the first 2 games. But then Donovan Mitchell, he's the younger one. I mean, he's 29, 30. Can you, you're slap bang in your prime. Can you take us to the promised land? Can you take us to the conference finals? Can you go to your first conference finals in the weaker East? Again, like I'm saying, a lot of question marks still yet to be answered, but we'll see if they can answer them in the next couple of games.
I'm looking at James Harden's last 2 games and losses where he's had high turnover games and not scored many points. And obviously, as I said, that points to, losing in regards to the playoffs, James Harden, team success, or lack thereof, should I say. Look, if it continues, and especially in his case, Harden, the turnovers begin to be an issue and he's not giving you enough output or playmaking to justify the lack of defense he's also going to be bringing you, I'm very sorry to say you might have to look into making more changes at Cleveland, and I don't know what that looks like. Yeah, 7 turnovers, and I think it was 9 turnovers in the game 3, if I'm not mistaken.
Really?
Yeah, it went great. And I don't know how much in regards to moves they can make, because they've made a lot of moves already, man. The Cavs have moved heaven and earth over the last few years to try and build a winning sort of, culture and franchise. However, if they get bounced against the Raptors team that we thought was, bound to get swept after the first couple of games, then I just don't know. I don't know how happy Donovan Mitchell would be happy in that, kind of situation. Even though he has a lot of responsibility to bear, he's still going to be the guy that I think he is, and he's going to be like, this situation ain't no good for me. I probably have to move on to do something else. I need a change of scenery, because that's exactly what he did in Utah, and I don't see why he wouldn't do that again in Cleveland.
But then, if he's slap bang in his prime, I feel like certain teams just want to stay relevant. So even if we know that Donovan just isn't good enough, but he's good enough to take us to the playoffs every year, first round, maybe second round, we might hope and dream for a conference finals. Keeps us relevant within like the third, fourth seed in the East. We'll keep him rather than trying to like change and like move on, try and get someone better.
Well, where do you think Donovan Mitchell ranks? Because everybody would rank him in, maybe a top 5. Maybe some people would say best shooting guard, in the league. But in regards to where he is in terms of the best player in the league, whether there's not many people who think he's the best player in the world or anything like that. But what class would you put Donovan Mitchell in regards to, the best players in the league, the very best? Is he up there for you?
No, he's definitely like a couple of tiers below. I mean, a couple of tiers below. You've got Luka, Jokic, Giannis when he's healthy.
Tatum,
Brown. Brunson, I'll put ahead of him.
Cade?
Yeah. Yeah. Ish. But they're there or thereabouts as the same. But I'm saying...
Anthony Edwards?
Anthony Edwards, 100% I'll put ahead of him. I'll put Mitchell around like 12th to 15th. That kind of area.
Oh, is that good enough to win you a championship as your best player?
No chance. No chance.
Interesting. Okay. Well, I'll be interested to see how this series goes. This is 2-2 right now, so it could go either way, but it looked really bad on the Cavs if they find a way to lose that one, in my eyes. Very quickly, let's go to Sixers, 76ers, Celtics. Even though, yes, the Sixers did heroics to get a victory and not get swept, yeah, this is still probably going to be the Celtics walking through to the next round. I like to think Stateside off. I don't want to spend too long on this one.
They should close out the Boston should close out the series tonight.
Jason Tatum, by the way, I'm so impressed about what I've seen in regards to coming back from the injury and doing his thing now. Yeah, I'm impressed still.
He's been balling out. He's looking more and more like himself. His jump shot is falling. He's driving to the cup. Obviously, great size, so good on defense as well. Jaylen Brown obviously playing at the top 5 player in the league type level. Peyton Pritchard
doing it.
Okay, someone tweeted saying he's shooting like a police with the body cover off or something. Bro, he was watching the Sixers in one of these games, bro. End of quarter buzzer beaters, like
talking. Come up with this stuff, man.
Yeah, because he's a white
mouth. I can really move mad now,
bro. City's shooting like a police with a body cam off, bro. I burst out laughing because he's got like the bus car like, and everything, bro. These lot are sick in the head, man. But I'm like, hey, there's some truth to it, man. He's letting it go.
There's some truth to it. He's doing it right now, man. Yeah, for real.
He's an aggressive scorer. You know what I mean? Obviously, Derek White, he's just doing all the little things for them, just tying everything together. What's his name? Jordan Walsh. Pressed me a lot.
Good defender.
He's made the backcourt very uncomfortable. Length, athleticism, and run out after sixes and stuff. But the Celtics are very organized. Do you know what I mean? And obviously their players and Brown and Tatum are just better than VJ and Maxey. Sixers on the other hand, they got to move on from Embiid. And I said this before Embiid came back for Game 4 as well. It almost looks like he's clogging up what VJ and Tyrese are trying to do. He's
so good. It's like should he probably be a role player, 6-man kind of guy when those guys need a break? Probably, but like you can't just have Joel Embiid out there just to set screens. Like it doesn't that's not happening. Do you know what I mean?
It's sad. I 100% get what you mean. It's just sad to see because Westbrook had that sort of thing. It's like, the former MVPs. You can't fathom them being role players or like them being number one option when you get the ball, give it to him, to them like, energy spark off the bench. And it's like a pride sort of thing. Do you know what I mean? It's like, I've just been accustomed to Embiid and these type of players dominating. But now you're saying he should come off the bench for Maxey and VJ. I just think the Sixers rip up the bandage, let Embiid go. You know what I mean? Let him go.
You think he's holding him back?
But yeah, I think so. I think so. I think you just got to build around the two backcourt guys and just take it from there. Do you know what I mean? They play more fast, quicker, more exciting brand of basketball without feeling like they have to cater to Embiid, get Embiid enough shots, and he can barely jump over a piece of paper. Do you know what I mean? Like, he's shooting mid ranges threes and he's just mad slow and laboured, not getting up and down the court like he used to. But he was windmilling. He was pushing people of the paint, like putting them through the rim. He's not that Embiid is not there anymore.
No, it's not. I've seen Jokić have some posters this playoffs, and if you can't jump higher than Jokić these days, then I'm sorry.
Down for man. Down
Peak.
for.
Very,
You
very
got
much.
to give credit to the Celtics, man. They're on the right track. If New York takes care of, obviously we're going to talk about them quickly. If they take care of that matchup, it'll be another matchup against Boston, New York in the second round, back to back years. And we'll see if this time around Boston can hold their nerve.
Well, Boston are looking good, mate. They're looking good, and my pick my other pick, I should say, because Magic, we might be back on the train to the Knicks. No, hey man, I don't care. I don't mind. Happily, the Knicks and the Hawks, good series. I didn't think it was going to be as easy for the Knicks because what is it, 2-2 now in the series?
2-2. Going back to New York tonight.
The Hawks, who sport a most improved player in Nikhil Alexander-Walker, by the way. Congratulations. It shouldn't be Jalen Duren after what I've seen in this playoffs, I'll tell you that.
No way.
That probably lost them the award, to be honest with you. They probably look at him like, we can't give it to this guy, no chance. I'm looking at this series and I'm like, I can't call it, I'll be honest with you, Stateside. It's that much of a swinger. Maybe it's just going to be who's playing at home. It might be one of those kind of series. But I can't split this right now because it's quite close.
I think New York will have enough, or just about enough for the Hawks. I think if New York plays through Cat, obviously Cat had his first career playoff triple double. I mean, when Cat's at his best, New York are very hard to beat. Do you know what I mean? And with the personnel that the Hawks have on their roster, they don't have anyone for Cat. I mean, when Cat is running down the middle, when he's posting up, he's too big, too physical. Obviously, he's got to stay out of foul trouble. But outside of that, he's a walking mismatch for that team. You know what you're getting from Brunson. His defense has to be a little bit better. Obviously, started the series, CJ was getting a lot of joy, but those shots aren't falling as they were with that much regularity in the first couple of games. But it's exciting. Obviously, they've got Nikola Alexander Walker. He hasn't really played up to the level as you saw in the regular season, which is why everyone says playoffs is just a completely different sport. You have to congratulate him though. Do you know what I mean? Because brought out the season, got to a team in the Hawks where he has more opportunities to fail, has more opportunities to learn about his game, and really express himself with what he can do. Do you know what I mean? Which he just never had that sort of freedom or license in Minnesota. But I'm just saying, if the Knicks play up to their level, they should end this in 6. They should win Game 5 tonight and close it out in Atlanta. I don't think they want us to go Game 7, knowing them
No.
are next.
If they go Game 7, then I'm concerned for the Knicks a smidge. Just because, not because of their star players in regards to what Brunson and what Cat is going to do. I expect them to play well, even though, I've been very much hot on, Karl Anthony Towns, what you're giving me. I expect him to turn up in big moments. But not the Cavs, the Hawks have that. They're playing with a lot more freedom in regards to we're not the favourites. There's not people expecting us to do much in this series anyway. So all we can do is go out, play, stick to a game plan, and hopefully we can do them. And it's got them 2 games doing that. I haven't put much expectation on the Hawks even getting this far. I thought in at least 5 games maybe coming into this series, I would have thought, yeah, the Hawks will make it tough, but Nick should have enough just talent-wise to see him through. But no. So it's going to be interesting to see if, it does go to 7 games, how the pressure will come to, how New York are going to deal with that, how Mike Brown is going to feel around and make sure they have enough to get it done. I'd like to think the Hawks, like I said, just have enough freedom and have the license of, people ain't expecting much from us anyway. Hopefully that should see them through and maybe win them another game, maybe 2, who knows. But I'm enjoying this series.
That's a fun series.
It's good, mate. It's good. Stateside, before we get out of here and before my laptop dies, excuse me, while I plug in the charger, shall we play one more game?
Let's do it. Let's play one more game.
Chargers in. Happy days. Like, share, comment, rate, subscribe if you enjoy what you're listening to. Do you know what's crazy as well? we're not going to play a game. I vetoed the game for now because we have to get through some of the headlines that's doing the rants in the NBA at the minute. Excuse me while I scroll up on the Dockeroonie. The Boston Celtics, Brad Stevens, has won the NBA's Executive of the Year. I think this is kind of evidence to a question that I wanted to ask you, and you can tell me if I'm wrong because I feel like you're going to anyway. Is the Boston Celtics the best run organization in the NBA? Because for my money, they probably are.
They're up there, for sure. They're up there. Let's not ask stupid questions now. They're up there. No, I mean, it's arguable. It's arguable, 100%. Because, bro, if your best player in Tatum goes down, and not only do you draft properly, but like they traded a lot of their players that won them the championship. Porzingis, Drew Holiday, Al Horford, like experienced winners, and then you still win 50+ games. Like you bring in a lot of players that were end of the bench, Mazzulla, all of that stuff, bro. You can't help but say that they're definitely one of the best run organizations. I have to be biased, bro. It's OKC, of course it's OKC. Look at what we're doing. Look at the dominance that we're doing with late second rounders and undrafted players. But again, you could say the same thing with Boston as well. So
I will say what's doing it for me is that they've been doing it a little longer in regards to, how long they've been at the top. Because this is going on at least 10 years now that they've been in contention for, Eastern Conference finals, hitting finals as well, actually winning a championship. You lot got the same amount of championships now. Not like you got like flipping 6 of them.
That's what I'm saying. I mean that's fair. That's fair. I don't want to make it into like a Boston versus OKC thing. I'm just saying
You've done it already,
with how low that we dropped, winning 20+ games and progressively scouting, bringing in undrafted players, when we have high draft picks, getting Chet, J-Dub, all of these guys, franchise altering sort of players and all of that. But hey, it's about Brad Stevens. It's about the Boston Celtics. Obviously, you give them their credit. Do you know what I mean? They've done a great job. Like you said, they've been there or thereabouts, damn near in the conference finals every year. Players like Donovan Mitchell that can barely sniff one. Embiid, bless you. Embiid probably won't even make one. Do you know what I mean? Embiid probably won't even make one. So it's just one of those. You have to give them credit, 100%. And they're looking at it saying it's a perfect opportunity. You mean a lot of people doubted them. They're looking to get back to the finals. Everyone says overarching favorites. I don't see why not. Do you know what I mean? So they're definitely one of the blueprints that a lot of teams look at to try and emulate to be successful in the league.
Yeah, I agree. MVP, I should start that again. Devin Booker, after getting swept in the playoffs, has called SGA the MVP of the league. And this is not just, me and you talking about it. This is not, anybody on your TikTok live or on general social media, the tweets, the Instagrammers, none of that. It's the players in the league. It's the person that he's just competed against, giving him his flowers, which is rare in the NBA. Them man don't give each other flowers unless it's absolutely necessary.
Them, bro.
Yeah, but they do it now, don't they? Look at that. The MVP, the colleagues in and around SGA, they man say he's the MVP. Maybe that's that's what's to come. Stateside. Maybe people have to get used to it.
And obviously, it's great seeing Devin Booker obviously give Shea his flowers because not many really do. But I can't stress it enough when I say I've watched so many OKC games, so many. The amount of hours that I've watched Russ, KD, Paul George, all these star players come in. And one thing I notice is like tendencies, like what do they like to do, like how do they dominate it with what they like to do. I have never seen KD, Russ, Paul George, or any of these MVP caliber type players play to the level of what Shea's doing now. Bro, what Shea does is, what's the English for it? It's like it's automatic, bro. But hey, I'm saying by the time they realize how good SGA is, it'll be too late. You'd have won all their rules. You would have cleaned up shop. But
fairs, man. Yes, they should have jumped on the bandwagon
let's just hope
already.
he stays injury free. Do you know what I mean? So, because I want to see that happen.
I don't never want to see him injured. However, I will never jump on the bandwagon. I'll be a hater.
I
will be a hater.
It'll be sweet. It'll be sweeter this year because a lot of people doubt us.
Fair enough. And last one, a bit of breaking news in regards to the NBA, a bit away from the playoffs. and into the draft lottery. I'm going to read this and hopefully it makes some sense. You can let me know your reaction to it after I've read it. The NBA has disclosed to its 30 GMs a singular new anti-tanking reform that expands the draft lottery to 16 teams, so as opposed to 14 teams at the moment, flattens odds, and have a relegation zone where the bottom 3 teams are penalised with fewer lottery balls for the number 1 pick. So from that, I understand it's not good enough just to be the worst team in the league anymore. They've expanded the lotteries from 14 teams to 16 teams. And they've basically, this is basically their new anti-tanking rules. Stateside off. What do you think? What are you saying?
I mean, past couple of years, they've tried to err on that side of, like, if you have the bottom worst record, there's no guarantee, because or else Dallas would have never got Cooper Flag. Do you know what I mean? It would have gone to like a Washington or someone like that. Do you know what I mean? But I think the NBA are always going to try and do this, but they're just certain teams, it's just in their innate nature to tank. They're professional tankers. You know what I mean? But hey, if they're going to be there or thereabouts, so they'll just how can you kind of semi-tank? Like, how is that even possible?
See, that's the thing now. There's, like you said, there's professional tankers now in this league.
Right.
And it's not a case of we're just going to eliminate tanking. That's impossible, I feel like. I think now it's just going to be, how can we tank smarter? How can we win just enough games so we're not in that relegation zone? Right. I fear for teams that are just bad. So, like, for example, my Kings this year, we're just bad. So under these new rules, we wouldn't have anything to do with the number 1 pick. Nothing to do with it, because not we were trying to tank. No, we were just bad. You know, it's not. It wasn't our fault. You know, we were destined to be the last team in the West.
It's just who we are, mate.
Yeah, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that now. You know, my team was in the playoffs. Never mind. Game 7 versus Curry. I'm not gonna leave it. You know.
I hear what you're saying.
Yeah, it's
a great area. It's an awkward spot.
Yeah, you know, it's going to be interesting to see how the new tanking format is now, because it's not just bottom out anymore. It's like you actually have to be semi-decent, but it's lottery at the end of the day, isn't it? So you can do all of this, all of that, but you can be the worst team in the league and still end up with the 4th pick, you know?
As long as you end there, though, man, you know what I mean? If you don't buy a ticket, you know, you won't win.
Exactly, mate. Exactly. What's interesting there, though, is new... It's no longer 14 teams, it's lottery now. It's 16 teams. So that's going to be interesting, just because, you know, people that are picked 15th and 16th now are going to have a little bit different expectations in regards to, he was picked 16. He was a lottery pick. He's a bust now. You know, they're going to be hearing a lot of that chat. Maybe not this draft, because they didn't confirm if this draft. And I don't think it will be. Yeah, next one. It's going to be interesting to see. Somebody like, I don't know, your middle of the pack 15th pick is now going to be a bust if he doesn't meet expectations. That's going to be interesting to see how that moves forward, you know. But I digress. Now, Stateside, I vetoed it and I'm bringing it back. Shall we play one more game?
Let's play one more game. Let's do it.
Overreactions, because we like a bit of overreactions here. You know what we do. You know, it's playoff time as well. It's perfect timing, you know. You know the rules of the game. I'm going to give you some statements that have come off of my noggin, and you have to tell me if I'm overreacting or not. Can you do that for me? Can you do that for the people?
Let us do it.
First one, which I think I know what you're going to say. The Pistons are a fake 1 seed. I can hear the Rolex ticking. Is that an overreaction?
It's not an overreaction, bro. It's not an overreaction because, bro, they had me fooled. You know what I mean? The Pistons had me fooled. And yeah, like I'm saying, that prison hoops, that formula don't work in 2026, man. Get out of here. You know what I mean?
Peak. It is peak. You know, they were my Pistons. They still are my Pistons. So don't get twisted. But it ain't looking good for us right now. You know. But my finals pick is going to the conference finals, so that's all right, isn't it? The Magic. Me and the Magic. Play the song. You know. I know that I'm hip. You know. Good song. Good song, mate. Good song. Gonna hear it now when that you've got before you go to bed, because you know your phones are listening, as they always say. You know. Next one here. Kununuppu was robbed of Rookie of the Year. Is this an overreaction?
Overreaction. Robbed is a bit too strong. Do you know what I mean? Like I said, he was my favorite to win Rookie of the Year, but then when you actually sit back and actually look at it, level of difficulty in terms of the responsibility that he had on his team, I know he won on his team in terms of like winning records and stuff. But what Dallas Mavericks asked for Cooper Flag to do for that team, it just far supersedes what Concanapo was doing for the Hornets. And obviously, I know Cooper Flag didn't even get there, but in a play-in playoff like setting, yeah. Next one.
I feel like you've got some heat for your Concanapo backing.
Shout out Condo, man. Shout out Condo. I still like his game a lot.
Shout out to the con man. Next one. Pat Riley needs to leave the Miami Heat in order for them to move forwards. Is this an overreaction?
It's not a reaction. I mean, I'm always like warm to like certain like level of like change, because with Miami, obviously they're talking about Heat culture, this, that, and the third, but they haven't won for a long time. I mean, someone made this comment saying star players are what reinforces what the culture is. Do you know what I mean? Because you can say Heat culture, this and the other, but I mean, losing all this time, like being a perennial playing team, is that part of the Heat culture? Of course not. But if you bring in someone new, you start drafting differently, you start scouting differently, with different pair of eyes. You might take a completely different direction. Hopefully, obviously the right direction. But obviously, it's one of those. Thank you for your services, Pat Riley. But the door's that way, with a slick hair back. You know what I mean?
Straight from the 80s. I don't mind it. I don't mind.
Moving like Ric Flair, bro.
I don't mind it. I do like me some Pat Rouse. Time might be up in Miami,
Yeah,
but hey, he's our position though. Where it's
It
like
reminds me of that Cowboys guy. What's his name?
Jerry Jones. Yeah, man.
Jerry World.
I'm not saying Pat Riley's lost his touch, but it's been a minute since the Heat have truly been a competitor. They've been an underdog many a time, but true competitor, it's been a long time now. It's been a long time, Pats. But he's one of those guys, I think, die in the chair. I'll leave when I want to leave. Probably deserves it, by the way, as well, but it looks like it,
For the franchise to move forward, something has to change.
Fair enough. Next one, matey. Nikola Jokić is overrated. Is that an overreaction?
It's an overreaction. He's a sore loser, but he's not overrated. Actually.
Uh-oh.
I just think, right?
Right, you've gone there. You might as well go ahead now. You might as well.
Bro, when Jokic does well, the praise is very hyperbolic. I mean, a lot of people, they go over the top. But when Jokic does bad, they're like, oh, you're overreacting. You know what I mean? Like, this is just a bad series. Like I said, you have to take the rough with the smooth. That's just how it is with these superstar players. But I'm saying Jokic is still a problem. Do you know what I mean? I'm not going to talk too early, but Jokic is still a problem. You know what I mean? Jokic being overrated, that's a bit too harsh. It's an overreaction. But we'll be there if certain expectations are not met. I'll tell you that now. I've said what I've had to say.
Hey man, he's been on the high for a long time. There's not been many lows, but everybody has their lows, man. This will be an all-time low if he finds a way not to get his way through the Timberwolves. A down tools Timberwolves. Last one, mateys, and before we get out of here, the Lakers will push the Thunder to 7 games. Is this an overreaction?
I don't want
to come back, Kyrie. Austin Reeves comes back. Why not?
I don't want to get too overconfident. I mean, it's the Lakers. It's the Lakers.
The Lakers.
No, it's an overreaction. They're not taking us to 7. They have to finish out the series, by the way.
Yeah.
Finish out the series, but if we end up facing the Lakers, talking 5, at most 6, but talking 5, they'll steal a game. They're still a game at home, but then we'll end up closing out our place.
Okay, matey.
But the Lakers are not taking us to 7 games.
I've seen LeBron do many things.
All I'm saying is, Rockets, please, if you're listening to me, help me. Do you know what I mean? Game 7. Run them into the ground. You know what I mean? Run them into the ground. I'm saying, I'd love to play the Lakers though. Just social media and like the fans, they're just very. Do you know what I mean? They overreact to the littlest things.
Oh, they're the kings of overreactions. They love this game.
I can't wait. I'd love to face the Lakers.
Yeah, fair enough, mate.
Teach them a lesson.
I do enjoy these episodes of Stateside Report UK and the business end of the season, as you say, as you was telling me before off camera. Some teams are built for it, some teams ain't. But I like the
Both my
journey.
teams are still active in this business end of the season, and my ticker is on the line, bro. Just saying, they better act right.
Yeah,
You see
dog.
PSG play properly, bro. With OKC, I have nothing bad to say about them. You know what I mean? But with Arsenal, you see what other teams are doing, man. You see what other teams are feeding their fans. What you lot got for me, huh? What have you lot got for me? That's all I'm saying.
You better go ahead win this league, mate. You better go ahead win it. Anyway.
That's me down for today.
Matey. Thank you for listening to another episode of Stateside Report UK. Please like, share, comment, rate, subscribe, all that jazzy stuff. Myself, Stateside Humph, potentially somebody special as well. Back again next week.
Same time next week. We'll see how different the bracket looks this time next week. You know, a lot of changes in the NBA every day, so we'll see who's in the second round, who's still in Game 7s. But yeah, we'll talk about it.
Indeed. Until then, though, gents, take it easy.
In a bit.